British people.
I didn't. I insulted your intelligence. Answer the question.
You're entitled to insult my intelligence.
Yeah, do I... sorry for the reform. Do I smell a bit of BS?
It's not where the reform will end up in the comedy club. They are the comedy club. In particular...
Now, this is a very interesting exchange between Labour's Darren Jones and Farage water carrier and extreme right-wing lackey Zia Yusuf about tax rises and are they inevitable? Well, somebody said something that clearly irked Darren Jones.
Look, I just want to tackle this issue about Labour being the same as the Tories, because I find it personally offensive. I mean, we've increased the national minimum wage, we're building a new generation of council houses, we've extended free school meals to every kid in school that's on universal credit, we're paying our doctors and nurses the salaries they've been looking for years as a consequence of our investment. We've increased spending on doctors and nurses for the last 2 years when the Tories wouldn't even talk to doctors and nurses, which is why they were on strike. The thing that is the same is when Reform and the Conservatives give you the simple answers to complex promises, but do not tell you how they're going to do it. Those are the questions you should be answering.
Can I just respond to that? I'll tell you what's offensive is insulting the intelligence of the British people.
I didn't. I insulted your intelligence. Answer the question.
You're entitled to insult my intelligence. You're not entitled to insult the intelligence of British people.
How?
Earlier on, you described an obvious tax hike in the form of council tax increases of 5%.
There's no answer.
Council tax increases of 5%. You described it, and I'm quoting, as a, quote, tax change. Apparently it's a tax change. The British people are sick and tired of being gaslit, and the Prime Minister of this country does it. You can see it on his social media account all of the time. You are unwilling to be honest with the British people. You consistently prioritise foreign citizens over the citizens of this country. And it's time you owned up to that and you stood by your conviction.
You did not answer the question how you do anything you've promised. I say what the British people are sick of, and that's false promises. That's why they voted for change at the election last year.
Yes, the lazy trope of there's no difference between Labour and the Tories, which is, let's be honest, is palpably untrue. Do you think the Tories would implement these policies?
We've increased the national minimum wage, we're building a new generation of council houses, we've extended free school meals to every kid in school that's on universal credit, we're paying our doctors and nurses the salaries they've been looking for years as a consequence of our investment. We've increased spending on doctors and nurses for the last 2 years when the Tories wouldn't even talk to doctors and nurses, which is why they were on strike.
I would also throw in stronger rights for renters and doing away with no-fault evictions, as well as the very popular Employment Rights Bill as well, that the Tories and Refuck all voted against as well. So they are different, aren't they? Let's be honest here. And granted, they are doing things that do piss me off, especially what they're doing with the trans community. But there's no point in Simon Clarke shaking his head when he spoke about the clusterfuck the Tories made of the doctor strike. But he's also right about the fact that both Farage plc and the Tories are basically giving easy answers to very complicated questions.
I'll tell you what's offensive is insulting the intelligence of the British people.
I didn't. I insulted your intelligence. Answer the question.
You're entitled to insult my intelligence. You're not entitled to insult the intelligence of British people.
How?
Ah, yes, Farage lackey Yusuf does the old classic. Yes, he's insulting your intelligence line to hide behind the fact that that's all they have, easy answers to very complicated questions. Then Darren Jones had to remind Fiona Bruce that she's not hosting a show on KGBeebies, who's, at the moment, political analyst in the morning, for as far as I know, is that political powerhouse, Dame Christopher Biggins. No, she's supposed to hold everyone to account without fear or favour and not there to tickle Yusuf's tummy because the BBC want to attract more refuck voters like the one gushing her knickers when Farage lackey Yusuf was shitting on migrants.
We've got a lot of reform supporters in the audience as well, so I want to hear from some of them at least.
Oh, maybe not then. I wonder if a lot of people don't want to pay the TV licence. I don't blame you. Whatever happened to an audience representing how people voted in the last election? Well, it refuck only got 14% of the votes, if I remember rightly. I smell bollocks. But I loved the way she got annoyed at the fact that Darren Jones was doing a better job at exposing the fact that they don't have the answers, but just sound bites, grievances, and utter word salad. Yes, Darren, stop exposing our refuck guest. He's not here to be harassed after every third word. That's why you're here, Darren. He's only here to spout meaningless buzzwords and shit on asylum seekers so that racist up there, she can gush in her knickers again.
The British people are sick and tired of being gaslit. And the Prime Minister of this country does it. You can see it on his social media account all of the time.
I also loved the way that he had the audacity to criticise anyone for gaslighting when his party and the Tories have made a living out of gaslighting, grifting and false promises, as well as demanding that poor people should bear the brunt of their Doge cuts. I found Yusuf's body language interesting as well. The thumb moving and the fiddling of his pen gave me the feeling that he wasn't entirely comfortable in this environment. Not that I'm a body language expert by any stretch of the imagination. But I also found his body language very interesting when the audience got their opportunity to have their say.
Yeah, sorry for the reform, do I smell a bit of BS? Because you are trying to tell us to trust you and to trust the reform or the Farage show, as we say. You know, it's the same, it's the guy who advocated for Brexit. Let's not forget that. And we forgot something in this conversation. Why the state of the economy is in the mess that we are now. It comes down to one thing, Brexit. Immigration. If we want to talk about immigration, we're supposed to take back control, according to your Farage imposter. You know, so, I mean, you tell us now we need to trust somebody that really he advocated for even WTO rules, which he didn't know what WTO rules were. You know, North Korea is in that. But anyway, so we are in the situation because of what happened into the economy. We lost 5% of GDP, around about 150 billion. So the economy will be fantastic with another extra 150 billion. That's why we are where we are.
All right, let me bring some more people in.
To the first guy with a fantastic shirt, you don't smell a little bit of BS. You're smelling a shit ton of bullshit from the right-wing water carrier that is Zia Yusuf. But his dismissive attitude when the guy brought up the real reason why we're in the shit, and that is Brexit, was very telling. But not as telling as the body language he showed when the next guy spoke.
It's not whether reform will end up in the comedy club. They are the comedy club. In particular for you, Darren. You said that Labour got in because people wanted change. They didn't. Labour got in because they wanted Labour in charge. And why did they want Labour in charge? Because of what you stand for. I think you need to change the narrative. You took over from the Tories, who destroyed this country in 14 years, and you've given them a window to spout the stuff they do. He's now the Doge lead. Like Elon Musk and Trump, it's a matter of time before him and Farage are going to fall out. What you need to do is change the narrative, not just on what we do. I think the spending review actually makes sense, but the narrative doesn't. The immigration narrative, people in this country genuinely care. But when it comes to a choice between people getting things for free and people really struggling, change the narrative. Put the humanity back in what immigration is all about and sort the immigration stuff out. You all talk the same stuff. There are a handful of things we can change.
I haven't got much time left.
Now look at Darren Jones, making eye contact, engaging, but look at Farage's lackey Yusuf. Not even looking at him, is he? He looks like he's ready to explode. And I also thought what he had to say was spot on about Labour. Not sure I agree about the Yusuf and Farage falling out bit. Yusuf knows his place, and that's right up Farage's backside, isn't it? Yes, he knows his place now. But anyway, I think I've taken up too much of your time now, my friends, but I enjoyed this little exchange where conclusive proof that Refuck are and always will be just a party of grievance and never ever will be a party of governance, will they? But what do you guys think? Refuck just a party of grievance and no policies? Let me know down below and I shall bid you farewell and take care, my friends.